why traditional therapy fails men, and what actually works. So you've tried therapy, you've sat in the chair, you've opened up, you followed advice, but deep down you're still broken, confused, and weak. Worst of all, you were never given the real answers. And I know why. Because traditional therapy was never designed for men like you. I'm Dr. Tony. I'm a licensed therapist, combat veteran, red pill strategist with over 20 years of clinical experience. Today, I'm going to expose why therapy is failing millions of men just like you, and exactly what works, and how to rebuild yourself into the man that you were designed to be. So keep watching to the end, as it will give you some pro tips on also how to find a good therapist. Okay, so I've broken this down in a few sections, and let's go over them here. And before we go on, if you do like this content, you want to see more of it, just make sure that you do like and subscribe, and also leave a comment as well. So you can leave as many comments as you like, and I will engage with you on all the comments. So, okay, all right. So the core problem, one of the core problems was therapy was never built for, of course, man. It was built for the feminine mind. Okay, so CBT, psychodynamic therapy, attachment work, these silly love languages, they're really designed for women's psychology. It's really emotional exploration, vulnerability, feelings first approaches. That works for female biology, but not for masculine biology. And as men, our pain is not solved by endlessly talking about our feelings. This is something I've learned many years ago, and I didn't have to research this anywhere. Okay, because there's nowhere I could research it anyways, because there's not a lot of data on that. I don't think there's any. Uh, we are tactical, men are tactical creatures. We solve through action, through responsibility, through structure, through mission. Traditional therapy ignores this because it pathologizes masculinity in and of itself. But it only pathologizes masculinity in the straight male. When you think about it, right? The woman, the boss babe, she could be masculine. Anyone from the LGBTQ community, they can be masculine. But the straight male, no, we are not supposed to have any rights to be masculine. So, anyways, I don't know what to make of us by that. But so let's go on. So the biggest lie, toxic masculinity. Therapists today are trained to see your natural masculine traits, assertiveness, aggression, ambition, sexual drive, dominance, as problems to be medicated or softened. In today's day and age, these traits are considered racist too. So how, I don't know, but hey, that's another video for another time. So you've been told to get in touch with your feelings, to be more vulnerable, to go of control. But what happened? You lost your frame, you became weak, and you got destroyed. You get destroyed by women. You get destroyed in the courts, the divorce and child court, custody courts. You get destroyed in workplaces with Me Too allegations and stuff. You get destroyed in relationships. Everywhere we go, we're getting destroyed because we are being told how to feel, and it conflicts with who we really are. So these very traits that made you strong are the ones they're trying to strip away from you, and so that's the biggest problem right there. So we're going to be looking at how we can get all this back. All right. So the next section we're looking at, this is where traditional therapy breaks men, and this is what it doesn't give you for men. For women, it's different. This is a man's channel. So what traditional therapy doesn't give men, it doesn't give us practical solutions, no masculine framework, no understanding of hypergamy or female nature, no preparation, of course, for family court warfare, no tools for frame control, no masculine tribe or brotherhood or any kind of sense of community that pulls us together, and then we can draw strength off of each other. They just give you pills, platitudes, and passive solutions while you just slowly lose your identity. And you know what? It doesn't surprise me. I don't know what the exact number is, but I'm sure it's upwards of 90% of people in the mental health field, psychologists, therapists, social workers, are women anyways. So I don't expect them to do anything, uh, give anything from the male perspective. And I can't really blame them 100% because the schools don't teach it. It's all from this passive feminine perspective, regardless of what they teach in school. So that's why a lot of guys don't want to go to therapy. They know what they're going to get. they're not going to get their money for it. That's for sure. Okay, so now let's look at this. Let's look at this, guys. What actually works? Okay, red pill therapy for men. Okay, let's check this out a bit more. I spent 3 combat tours learning what real stress, trauma, and pressure looks like when I say 3 combat tours in the military in Afghanistan and Iraq. And I spent upwards of or over 20 years actually in the clinical world seeing broken men walk through my door almost every day. And I've developed a way of working with them that rebuilds men from the ground up. And some of the core pillars that I use are masculine identity reconstruction, where I help them rebuild themselves based on biological truths, not on cultural lies, right? I really help men understand female psychology, how the female mind works more, so they can kind of encode the language as well. And that definitely helps men a lot. Now, if they do the work, of course. Also, help men on frame control and emotional mastery, help them to develop the ability to stay centered, powerful, and touchable, even when tested. Okay. Then I work with guys, if needed, in that area on divorce, betrayal, and tactical recovery, learning how to navigate the courts, finances, child custody, and with discipline and clarity, because it's a very difficult and emotional time for many men going through that, of course. A lot of you guys, I'm sure, have gone through that, so you don't need me to tell you. And another pillar that I help men to focus on is brotherhood and accountability. I mean, we men don't heal in isolation. Okay, we heal also in a tribe of good friends or other high valued men who will hold us accountable. Okay, so I help men build that area of their lives as well. Okay. So that's how I work with men in therapy. And it's all from still a therapeutic standpoint, but these are areas that I touch on that most other therapists, trust me, will not look at and will not even want them to touch on. So that's what sets me apart from a lot of therapists out there, both women and men, because of my perspectives in life. All right. So now we're going to look at the truth you were never told. Now, you don't need more vulnerability. Everyone says you do. You need more discipline. You don't need to share your feelings endlessly. You need to master them. You don't need a safe space. You need a war room. Okay? This isn't about denying your emotions. It's not about controlling them. It's about channeling them and weaponizing them towards your mission. As a therapist, I found that men heal through structure, through goals, through finding meaning in life and purpose. Okay? Completely different. Now, look, I always let my clients, never deny them to share their feelings, to feel vulnerable. If they choose to, they can. It's a place to do it. If that means tears, that's fine. I'm not some cold-hearted bastard. I'm an ethical therapist, right? And we still have to feel our feelings. But we can't spend too much time as men on the ground before we get devoured by a life. The period from where we get knocked down to getting up is a very short window. It's kind of like when you get knocked out in a fight, you get 10 seconds to get back up, otherwise you lost. Life kind of parrots that too with us men. We're not like women. We can't stay down there and lay down and be a victim forever, okay, and make their beds up down there. All right, so that's why I just want to explain that part. Okay, so you guys, let's look at this. We've talked about some things here in terms of just how traditional therapy uh, is not really just really doesn't work for a lot of guys. That's why a lot of guys just don't want to go to it. Talk about the kind of therapy that I do that is a bit different and I say more helpful to men. And here's a few pro tips on finding a good therapist. First, I'd say start with finding a male therapist, and I say preferably a heterosexual one. And this is not sexist, it's not misogynistic, it's not discriminatory. You have a right to ask for a male therapist and a heterosexual one. We get asked those questions when prospective clients come to us. We always answer them, okay? Because we want clients to work with therapists that they're happy with, they're comfortable with. So that's one part. Okay, and also when you look at their bio, most therapists have a lot of information in their bios online. Look at what their hobbies, look at what they do, maybe their prior careers, things like that, And if there are things of more of a masculine nature, I'd say that's a good start. Do a little investigation there. You know, yeah, I mean, if you saw a therapist like me who also spent time in the military, you could probably kind of figure out his approach to therapy would be more results driven, more solution oriented instead of more process driven. So those are things to look at. And the third thing you want to look at, you want to see if he will do a consultation with you, at least a 10, 15-minute consultation over the phone, free of charge. Okay. So you can get a good feel for who this therapist is. All right. Now, if you can do that, that's a good sign because he doesn't care about the money. He cares about getting quality clients and doing quality work. So remember those three things, okay, moving forward. So, all right. So if you're tired of therapy that just keeps you weak, confused, and broken, and you're ready to rebuild to be a strong tactical man, just join me here by by liking and subscribing. And I will see you in the next one. So, I'm Dr. Tony, and take care and hang in there, guys.